This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Rated R Safety Show, and Happy New Year to you. So, we counted down the whole year last year till we got to this point of 2020. I am so glad that we are here together. I hope you had a fantastic evening last night, and then just in case, today is the 1st of January of 2020. Now, keep in mind, this is a leap year.
Duh.
I don't know if we should already start counting down towards 2021, especially because this thing just started. So hopefully you had a fantastic time last evening. Some fun with the fam, some fun with some friends, didn't cause too much chaos, and everything kind of went copacetic, as people like to say. So I'm pretty excited about today. This is the first episode of the new year of the Rated R Safety Show. So I'm not going to drag it on too much, and let's get you started with the news.
Happy holidays from all of us at Safety FM. To you, wherever you are.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, taking it from the very top on what's going on around the world here on the year of 2020, a violent mob backed by Iranian resources stormed the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad yesterday, forcing American staff and personnel into a safe room while others evacuated. President Trump ordered 100 U.S. Marines to fortify the embassy. The attack is part of a back and forth between the U.S. and Iran. Last week, U.S. conducted airstrikes in retaliation of killing of an American contractor in Kuwait, Iraq. There are no current plans to a full-scale evacuation, the State Department has announced. I know, not the way to start off the 2020 portion in regards to having the conversation, but we need to talk about it. Let's continue. A new study out in the UC Berkeley has uncovered that good sleep does wonders for alleviating anxiety, especially when it's consistent. Deep sleep seems to be a natural anxiety inhibitor so long as we get it all in each and every night. Studies, according to Matthew Walker, that was the information that was provided. So I'll tell you, the sleep portion here is not the best thing for me. I don't know how well it works out for you, but hopefully it is a good thing that occurs when it does occur. Let's continue down the path here, ladies and gentlemen. Tate Modern Art Gallery in London has removed Picasso, bust of a woman, painting after a man allegedly tore a rip in the canvas. He's being held in custody by the police. The gallery says its conservation team is assessing the damage and the rest of the gallery remains open. So I don't know. I'm not very familiar with that particular news story. So is this something that the guy did on purpose? Because I don't know. Have you heard anything? I know. Talking a little bit about everything today. New York's guardian angels have privately patrolled the neighborhoods in New York since 1979. Their iconic red berets and jackets act as a visual deterrent for those who would be criminals. Now they're headed into the Jewish neighborhoods in Brooklyn, where incidents of violence have spiked over the last recent weeks. These attacks are taking place, and the cops have not been proactive at all. It comes from the city hall and the mayor. He's been just apathetic, according to what they're saying. Organized Information has been provided by NBC News. Now, this was a news story that has been kind of making the circulations here. This is something coming out of Kansas City, so let's take it from the top there. The Kansas City police officer who says an anti-police slur was written on his McDonald's coffee cup says he made it up. Oh, shit. Since the police chief made a big deal on social media about the attack and drew national headlines, the officer has resigned. McDonald's and its employees did not have anything whatsoever to do with the incident. This was completely and solely fabricated by the Harrington police officer who is no longer employed with the agency. This is according to the Harrington police chief, Brian Hutterday, is what I think the last name is, said at a news conference on Monday night. Well, holy shit, man. Why are you trying to put some bad light on McDonald's? I could go down a whole other conversation with that, but I'm talking about with this incident. Kind of a shitty thing to do from the police officer's standpoint, but hey, I guess those things happen from time to time. Don't encourage it, but I guess it does happen. Let's continue. The entire class of cadets training as a part of the West Virginia Division of Correction and Rehabilitation basic training have been fired after image surfaced online of almost all of them giving the Nazi salute. They made the gesture under the caption, "Hail Bird," a reference to one of their instructors. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice has ordered all of them axed, as well as 3 members of the training staff, instructors who knew about the image but didn't report it after being suspended without pay. Well. I think you need to be held accountable for the shit that you do.
Duh.
Just my opinion, and apparently the opinion of the West Virginia governor, as I just discussed there. Anyways, let's talk about Uber and Postmates real quick. Uber and Postmates have filed a lawsuit in California over the law that's set to take effect today that would reclassify employment status for the independent contractors who make their own on-demand service function. The law set out guidelines for rules that make contractors regular employees entitled to a minimum wage protection and certain benefits obligation. We knew that this was going to hit a shitstorm. I was been having this conversation over the last few months because we knew that this was not going to be copacetic with the state of California because, as you probably already are aware, as California rolls, so does normally the rest of the U.S.
Duh.
So it'll be interesting to see what the outcome of that is going to be because I think, depending on what happens, everything will change inside of that little environment, and it could make it interesting for Uber, Lyft, Postmates, Shipt, and all these other services that use people out there. And I shouldn't say use, contract with people out there on how that's going to work. Let's continue. Chicago has reported a decline in the murder rate for the 3rd year in a row. Well, that's great to hear. As of yesterday morning, Chicago PD they tallied up, better saying, 490 homicides for the year, down from 564 in 2018, and a 35% drop in 2 decades high of 756 reported back in 2016. This is according to CNN. City leaders point to more police officers, community watches, and improved social services in the slow turnaround of the tragic statistic. But at least it's going in the right direction. That's the important part. Shipping giants FedEx and UPS will charge a flat $24 fee on top of their other charges for packages that weigh over 50 pounds. Oh yeah, the current threshold is 70 pounds. Shipping consultant firm Shipware tells the Wall Street Journal that it will have expensive consequences for some companies and may end up being counterproductive when it's all said and done. They'll just end up sending more packages under the weight limit. Another consultant points out that the new gray area in the heavy products thinks that things like dog food, lounge chairs, exercise equipment, home theater systems, bicycles, and medical devices lay in that 50 to 70 pound range, according to the Wall Street Journal. So we'll see how that ends up working out because that's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know how much you ship with UPS and FedEx, but do you send shit that's that heavy? I know in the safety world, some of us send some pretty heavy stuff via mail.
Duh.
Just the way that it works. Anyways, let's continue. Courtesy of the New York Times, here are some new laws going into effect according to them on what's going around the country. Arkansas bans state-funded human cloning. I guess that's interesting. Weed goes legal today in Illinois, provided that you're 21, purchasing from a state license shop, and there are about 35 approved around the state, but only 30 grams of marijuana and 500 milligrams of edibles can be bought at a crack. I don't know if I should have used the word at a crack when I'm talking about marijuana, because, you know, some people out there are going to say, well, this is the gateway drug. Why are you talking about crack? That's not what I'm talking about. Let's continue. California residents will be able to request deletion of any data collected about them by websites that track them. That's pretty good stuff there. Good stuff, good stuff. New York eliminates cash bail for misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. This could mean that the release of 40% of inmates held under the pre-trial detention. So that goes into effect today. Job seekers in New Jersey can't be asked about their salary history. That goes into effect also today. So some pretty interesting things changing around the planet here in the good old States. Let's continue. So let's take it from the top. Gonna go all the way to the days of the year that you can celebrate today. I wonder if one's gonna be dead obvious. Let's continue. Apple Gifting Day. Commitment Day. Copyright Law Day. Euro Day. Global Family Day. National Bloody Mary Day. National Hangover Day. New Year's Day. New Year's Dishonored List Day. Polar Bear Swim Day. Public Domain Day. St. Basil's Day. World Day of Peace. And Z-Day. Well, I appreciate that you have been hanging out with me over the last few months as we've been doing the Rated R Safety Show. And I am glad that we've been able to start the year together. Just you and I, talking about the shit that goes on in our world and the shit that goes on inside of our safety world. I find it always interesting and a pleasure to be able to come to you ever so frequently as we spend time together. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Duh.
The countdown has begun on January 14th, 2020. Find out only on Safety FM.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.